The thing goes pop, 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 pop. Skitty kid pop, pop. And the poop, poop, boom. Skia. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Yo. God.
Welcome to Fantasy and Chill, Week 10. I'm your quarterback, Ryan Keller, joined by Britt Crawford.
What's good?
Oh, shit.
Oh, that song's like freaking out a little bit, man. What's going on? Welcome to Fantasy and Chill, Week 10. I'm your quarterback, Ryan Keller.
Whoa. What is
Britt
going
Crawford.
on? Okay, there we go. Sorry.
Are we good?
Top-notch production.
A little technical difficulty, but we're okay.
Are we good now? Yes, we're good.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that was Britt Crawford chiming in over there. We got joined back by Ethan Hargrave, back from it. Oh, he's still a little banged up, but he's pushing through tonight.
What's up? Good to be back.
And usually solid producer Matt, already 0 for 1 tonight, but Matt.
Yeah, well, we're trying out a new little thing here with the old Periscope, so it kind of started playing on my end without me knowing. I'm also wearing the Ric Flair wig in honor of
I can see
30
that,
for 30
Matt.
tonight.
10,000 women.
So before we get into our Week 9 recap, let's it's been quite the roller coaster of a week for us Houstonians here. So a week ago, we were celebrating our Astros World Series, but we didn't even have a day of joy with our boy Deshaun Watson going down for the season with that torn ACL, and that was just get a little dust in the wind going. But that was just, I mean, if that didn't, that was just typical Houston sports right there.
Just a moment of silence, please, Phyllis.
Okay, I think we're good with the dust in the wind.
I think you could play that song after every season the Texans have.
You knew that it was going too good, right? Like a sacrifice must be made.
We didn't even have 24 hours to celebrate that World Series.
You know, I was going home. I was going home from work, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, we got the pieces on offense, man. Like, we're really cooking. We could actually, if our defense kind of put something together, we could actually make a deep playoff run this year. Yeah, so much for that.
Matt, I gotta say, I'm digging the background on the Fantasy and Chill on YouTube. That is sick.
Oh, thank you. Nice shout out, by the way. Follow our Twitter and Instagram at Fantasy and Chill.
I was looking for Ethan, but he's the Reaper right there.
Oh,
He's
no.
disguised.
Nice. I think the worst part of about that Deshaun Watson injury, that sucks if you had Deshaun Watson as your fantasy quarterback, because that's pretty much, he was the number one quarterback going forward. But they just make the Texans completely unwatchable. If you try to watch that game on Sunday, Tom Savage is fucking terrible. Like, I'm pretty confident, Britt, that you could go out there and probably do pretty close to that.
See, the worst thing is, like, not only are you losing Deshaun Watson, but you're losing Will Fuller. Maybe not DeAndre Hopkins this past weekend, and then Lamar Miller, like, all of their values just plummet, and it just sucks.
Lamar Miller just went from 8 points to 7 points. But I mean, it's really, I was really starting to look at, I was getting hyped about the weekends, not only for my own team, fantasy wise, but I was actually getting excited to watch the Texans. And I think a lot of people around the nation were, because, I mean, the guy's electric.
Yes.
I mean, we see what happens when he's there, and he makes I honestly think he has that Aaron Rodgers like quality about him, where he makes everybody around him just better. And
He does.
You see what happens when he's gone. I mean, no, God bless.
I was worried as a DeAndre Hopkins owner, but Tom Savage just forces that ball to him every single time. He had 16 targets on Sunday.
6 catches, right?
Something like that. But if you watch the game, I think Tom Savage threw the ball 44 times. Like, at least 10 or 12 of them had to go out of bounds without, like, he wasn't trying to throw them away. He just fucking threw them out of bounds.
Yeah, I heard a great quote on the local radio saying it looked like he was trying to play doubles tennis on a singles court. It's pretty accurate.
It is.
I think Hopkins is he went down from being like an elite wide receiver to maybe like a really high end, wide receiver 2, but everybody else, it's game over for real. Like, I'm not playing anybody else.
Yeah, it's rough. But let's get back to our Week 9 recap. And we're going to start off like we always do with our fantasy studs.
Fantasy studs.
Yay.
And I'm looking at the names down this list, and there's some obscure names here that we're not used to seeing on the stud list. So our first guy is our quarterback, Jared Goff. He was only 14 for 22, didn't have to throw it very much, but he had 311 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, I know that 2 of those touchdowns, like one was just a deep ball to Sammy Watkins, and one was a screen to Robert Woods that turned into like a 60-yard touchdown with terrible tackling. But, I mean, he's been pretty solid all season long.
I think I've been on record as saying Jared Goff has good tools, man, and that offense is coming alive. I'm not surprised he got, a fantasy stud here. I think he's a lot of people were saying, hey, hold up. I don't think he's an every week quarterback, but really you could do a lot worse than Jared Goff.
I'm still not buying in, though. I mean, that was only his second 300-yard game. I mean, he's got close before again, but that offense revolves around Todd Gurley. So,
okay, here's this, Britt, though. Do you play him against the Texans this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm playing everybody against the Texans.
He's a top 4 play, I think.
What's funny is, though, people still talk about the Texans D like there's some vaunted D, but, like, they're really not. They're actually pretty – without J.J. Watt and who else they lose? Merciless. They're pretty soft, actually.
When you lose those 2 guys.
I don't know, but, like, the people's perception still in their head is, like, Houston's at top 5, top 10 defense. And, I mean, they're just not this year.
I went to the Texans game probably, I think it was last year, and they're still playing fucking Bulls on Parade. Like, when the defense comes on, and like, give it a rest, guys.
Kind of like at A&M when we would start chanting Wrecking Crew when we were, like, I think 4 and 5, where our record was just terrible.
Beautiful.
You get those glimpses, though, of hope.
Okay, our next fantasy stud was he was my quarterback this week and maybe going forward, but that was Tyrod Taylor. He was 29 for 40 for 285 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also added 35 yards on the ground with a rushing score. And if you watched the game last Thursday night, most of this was garbage time, but he showed that he can get hot and put some points on the board.
I'll be real interested to see what happens when Kelvin the Baker Benjamin gets thrown in the mix. Really, I don't think it's going to add much, but Tyrod Taylor, once again, I think he's a better fantasy quarterback than he is a real life quarterback, but not bad, man.
To me, he's a home quarterback, which means when he plays at home, you start him. Because, I mean, like, I wasn't expecting a good performance this past week because his past 3 road games, he had 10, 12, and 9. And so I wasn't expecting anything this game. I mean, most of it was in garbage time, like Killer said. But at home, I'm playing Tyrod Taylor. I guess the Jets aren't too far away from Buffalo, right?
It's pretty close. Same state.
No. Yeah.
Actually,
they get to play New England twice.
Yeah, New England's pretty bad.
I'm not. I don't know. Are you playing them this week with New Orleans coming into town?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Okay. Hey, New Orleans D. Hey, Matt can talk about them.
Yeah, they're coming alive a little bit. Really, like their defense isn't near as bad as people think they are. Still, I think people.
It's that perception they
have. Yeah, they're horrible. They're not that bad. They're actually pretty decent, especially in the secondary.
Matt, were you going to add something on Taylor? I thought I saw you.
Was I? No, I mean, he's got one of the easiest schedules as a quarterback for the rest of the year, so he's definitely a solid play. And plus, you get that rushing floor that adds maybe like 5 to 10 points each game, so you're never just going to get like a dud from him.
Yeah, I mean, we know Shady run one of the ball last week.
Yikes. That was a Matt's guarantee lock of the week, right?
I did not say that. All I did was put a horse head on his head and said he was going to get the ball a lot of times, all right? Now, what he does with the ball, that's a different story.
Hey, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right?
Exactly.
Boom.
It's those damn Thursday night games.
It is.
Yeah, the only thing that makes Thursdays watchable most of the time is Romo.
And beer.
Hey, should get a decent Thursday night game this week.
Did y'all happen to hear Deion Sanders' rebuttal to what Romo said about Sanders didn't really tackle that well?
What did he say?
Oh, Deion Sanders was going off about him, how Sanders took it kind of personally, just going off about how he never won a ring. He's got no gold jacket. I just thought it was pretty funny.
Obviously, Tony Romo was joking around with him, and Deion took it seriously.
Yeah, 100.
Deion Sanders is the one who coined the phrase "business decision" when it came to tackling. Okay, like he joked about himself, and plus he was a mercenary. Okay, he would go to San Francisco when they were hot, and then he'd go to Dallas when they were hot. So I don't want to hear any of that shit.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our fantasy running backs. First guy is Matt's boy, Alvin Kamara, 10 rushes for 68 yards and a touchdown. Also added 6 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. And is he turning into a must start? Are we running him out there every single week, no matter who he's playing?
Bro, I've had him in the flex for a while now. Feels good, but yeah. If you're not, I think the top since week 6, 2 of the top 3 running backs have been Ingram and Kamara. They have 2 top 3 running backs on the same team right now, and the New Orleans has turned into a run first team. They really have they focus so much around what they can do out of the backfield. It's amazing. And PPR, Alvin Kamara's got to be a monster. I mean, he's got to have the lowest an incredibly high floor. He's doing so good. So lucky to have him on the team.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting Ingram and Kamara. It's just a matter of which one of them is going to go off. Because I mean, Ingram's the 13th ranked running back, and Kamara is the 14th ranked running back. So they're both starts every week.
H-Town.
Yeah.
Well, we got more
around here. It stands
ads.
for more than just our city's name.
I have no clue where this is coming from.
It stands for hope.
There it is.
Let it ride.
What was that? That Budweiser? We sponsored by Budweiser now?
We can be after that. Damn, they took up 10
stepping
seconds
our
of our
game up.
spot. I gotta mute that
Wait.
next time.
Keller, can we pause real quick? Keller, you trying to make a move on my man on my trade?
What are you talking about?
Oh, my Keller. Okay.
Undercutting.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned a trade to him earlier, and it looks like he's trying to go after my guy now. Okay.
What is it? Fucking Derek selling me out already? It's been like 10 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, Matt, what'd you want to add on your boy Kamara?
I just think he's solid. I have a question after this, but Kamara. The best thing about Kamara is he's game script. It doesn't matter what game script you're getting with him. If they're down by a lot, he's gonna play. If they're up by a lot, he's gonna play. And you saw from last game, I think he got one of the goal line carries too. So it's not. You say he's better in PPR, but if he's getting those goal line carries, he's also good in standard too. So it's just good all around to have. And my question was, if you had Kareem Hunt, would you trade for Kamara? Would you give up Hunt for Kamara right now?
That's a really good question.
No.
I'm holding on to Kamara, really. I'm happy with what I got. I think that's kind of like a side grade, really. But I'm holding on to if I got Kamara, I'm holding on to him.
I wouldn't trade Kareem Hunt for Kamara.
Yeah, I'd hold on to Hunt. Hunt's the better running back.
I don't know if he's necessarily better, but he has more opportunity.
What has Kareem Hunt done since since the early season, though?
It's not about what he's done. It's just he's the main back in Kansas City. And with New Orleans, you got kind of Mark Ingram still there getting, 17, 18 carries a week? I understand Kamara's like the little third down scat back, but Kareem Hunt's got no competition in Kansas City.
You act like this guy's Danny Woodhead or something. He's a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
It's
his
rookie year. Shot.
Kareem Hunt got 9 carries last week.
I mean, they were playing from behind, though. That was kind of the game script.
It doesn't matter if the Saints are ahead or behind. Kamara is getting something.
All right, let's go on to our next running back. And this one was really surprising considering this guy hadn't really done anything all year, and they added another stud running back into the fold. But Corey Clement had 12 carries for 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then he also added a catch for 15 yards and a touchdown. And I realized he got 12 carries because they were up so big, but still to get 3 touchdowns. And I think he had the most touches on the team, if I'm correct, right? Anybody know the answer to that one?
I think Ajayi only got like 8 carries.
Clement had 12 carries, Smallwood had 5, Blunt had 9, Ajayi had 8.
Clement is fool's gold, okay? Don't touch him.
He's not going to do that again, but pretty impressive to score 3 touchdowns.
Hey, that's a nice day, man. I mean, he's got good skills, but I mean, I think that was just a guy having a career day. That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean that.
You think they give a longer look to him now, though, after he showed that?
Nope. I think it's a Jai show now. Hopefully this doesn't turn into some New England Patriots backfield where you got 5 different running backs all in the game at one point. So
it just might. I mean, that performance might have muddled things too. So, I mean, I think they might not feature him. Obviously, I would have featured Ajayi, but they may carve out some place for him in the somewhere along in the game book.
I think we can all agree that Smallwood is for sure done.
Oh, well, yeah. I think he's out of the mix now.
We have a real quick Periscope question, if y'all are down for that.
Go for it.
From Great Hater, he's asking for Week 10, I'm assuming. Does he go with Juju, Michael Thomas, or DeAndre Hopkins? Pittsburgh's playing Indianapolis, Saints are playing Bills, and Texans are playing the Rams.
Look, DeAndre Hopkins is still, if you have him, you're playing him. He's still your best option, probably a receiver. He's going to get the targets, and as he showed on Sunday, I mean, if you throw it to him enough, he'll eventually haul a touchdown in because Tom Savage, that is the only guy Tom Savage is looking at. So I would still roll with Hopkins every week.
Yeah, and I think the game script's going to fit that, where I think the Rams are going to get up and Houston's going to have to throw the ball. Whereas, like, Michael Thomas is close right there, but they're traveling to the Bills, and the Bills normally play pretty good at home. So
the Bills have a pretty good secondary too, actually. Don't let last week's performance, fool you. But yeah, Hopkins definitely. I would go Hopkins, Juju, and then Thomas.
See, I'd have it Hopkins, Thomas, and then Juju.
But Juju's playing it. Got a juice little man.
Juju on that beat. Juju on that beat.
Oh, hey, Keller. Derek said, "Fuck off," and he says he does not want Frank Gore.
Look, I'm just trying to tell him that if he's going to trade you Gronk for Amir Abdullah, Frank Gore is the better player.
Look, never mind. He doesn't need your advice, Ryan Keller. You let the man decide, okay?
Either way, this sounds like total trade rape to me.
Well, Keller never offers a fair trade. I think Matt can vouch for that. Or Frank Gore's going to be in on the deal.
Like taking advantage of this guy.
Look, you can hate on Frank Gore, but he's number 18 running back, okay?
You didn't even play him, okay?
Britt, my 3 running backs are the 3 best running backs in the league. I'm never going to play him.
No, I'm saying didn't you start TJ Yeldon over him?
Yeah, I did. What's your point?
How'd that work out?
I won, so.
Shut your mouth.
All right, let's go to our receivers. First stud wide receiver we got. And actually, this is called he played the Texans, but T.Y. Hilton had 5 catches for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. The first one, he just beat the secondary coverage over the top for like 60-yard bomb. Second one, I don't know what the fuck Kareem Jackson and Andre Howe were doing, but somehow T.Y. Hilton fell on the ground, rolled around for about 5 seconds, and then got up and ran in the end zone. But if you're a Texans fan, you know that T.Y. Hilton is going to torch them every single time.
I don't know if you remember this, but Roy Oswalt used to own the Cincinnati Reds. I think it was like 19-1 against the Reds.
Yeah, he was.
T.Y. Hilton, I wish I was here last week to put out the PSA, but T.Y. Hilton owns the fucking Texans. Every time he plays against them, doesn't matter which year it is, for whatever reason, T.Y. Hilton is just extra pumped and extra good against the Texans. And it doesn't help that the Texans they might as well just peel that bull off the side of their helmets and put a fucking cow patty up there. Garbage.
Yeah, I mean, but like with that performance by T.Y., I'm selling high right now on T.Y. Hilton.
The nut button.
They do play the Texans in the time, don't they?
Yes. Yeah, they do.
Play them week 17.
Fantasy's over by then. So, Matt, you've been waiting for that all season, right?
Well, that's his third game that he's done that for. So I mean, that's what you're going to get out of him. I think with Jacoby Brissett starting. I don't know if you heard the news about Luck though, that he's could possibly be done for his career. It's just a little rumor out there right now.
I think that the quote was misconstrued in that he's going to be done for his Indy career, not career.
Okay.
That's how I read it.
Yeah, it could be true. But if you can get something out of Hilton, I think you're trying to trade him here. But I just don't know if you're going to get anything worth it. Like, you might as well just live with the boom or bust potentiality.
Are you trying to trade him?
For the right price, I'm really willing to trade anyone.
Well, wait, are y'all talking about like the Tony Dungy quote or whatever? What Jim Irsay saying?
Well, there was another thing that came out too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because what I heard was like Tony Dungy overheard Jim Irsay say that it was in his head, Andrew Luck, and that like he'll never be right in the head. So I don't know.
Basically calling him a big pussy.
Kind of, yeah. But I don't think that's the case with Luck.
Oh, man. I know I've said this before, but that kind of injury, I still can't throw like I want to, man. I still can't. It's just, I understand how he feels if he feels that way.
I mean, I've seen you throw. I don't think you could ever throw, Ethan. Just joking, man.
Throw you around.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. You are my bodyguard.
All right, next fantasy stud wide receiver, Robert Woods, 4 catches for 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. But like we said, one of those touchdowns was like a 50 or 60-yard screen pass that just completely broke down the defense. But he has had a couple good weeks in a row now. So placing any stock in Robert Woods here?
I think he has value.
I do too. Pick him up.
Would he be the Rams wide receiver would he be your highest rated Rams wide receiver now?
It definitely isn't Tavon Austin. And Sammy Watkins, we had a Sammy Watkins sighting this week.
I actually called that. Did I not, Ryan?
I mean, he had one long catch, and that was it.
How many fantasy points did he have? That's all I wanted to know.
Probably like 14.
It's like Britt said earlier, though, that Todd Gurley really is the catalyst of that offense. It's Gurley first, and then Robert. I'm saying Robert Woods is the second best option they have with a little bit of Tavon Austin gadget plays in there. But I definitely think Robert Woods has some value, though, for sure.
He does lead the team in targets, so I think he's the receiver to go for, maybe. Like Cooper Kupp, he gets a lot of red zone targets, but
Robert Woods sneaky play this week going against the Texans?
I don't think that's a very sneaky play.
Yeah, I'm starting Cooper Kupp, Watkins, and Woods this weekend.
Oh. You have Watkins on your team, so you're starting him.
Yes, possibly.
Let's go, Britt. Put your money where your mouth is.
I might pick up Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp because they're both on waivers as well.
Oh, well, now I know your strategy since we are playing each other.
I guess I shouldn't be telling y'all this because Keller's gonna run and tell someone.
Maybe
what are you talking about? I've just proved that Derek's the one running and telling. I'm just wheeling and dealing.
Wait. You went to him off of my information. So you're the one running and telling, Mr. Ryan.
No, I'm just trying to undercut your deal.
Oh.
What?
Oh, some friend you are.
Anyways, how about Alshon Jeffrey?
Next stud receiver, we got Alshon Jeffrey, 6 catches for 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. I had him in my starting lineup this week, and I benched him for Ted Ginn. Ended up not really mattering. But, I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row. He's been scoring. He's finally getting back on track. Derek, who's already gotten a lot of FaceTime on the show tonight. But, Derek, great drop of Alshon Jeffrey, man. He's a number 5 wide receiver now overall. So, yeah, really appreciate it.
Feels bad, man.
You stupid.
Alshon Jeffrey what's happened? What's wrong with the Broncos, man? Anybody?
They're bad.
Oh man, their offense is.
And they're
horrible.
starting Brock Osweiler.
Oh god, I feel for them so much, but they're pretty much toast in Denver, but they still have talent. Anyways, Alshon Jeffries, he's looking alive now. I think he's got a nice little home. One thing you got to worry about is his injury history. Other than that, he's very valuable. week in,
I
week
think
out.
he's showing that he is still by far that number one wide receiver in Philly. And anybody that thought that Nelson Aguilar was their number one wide receiver just got played for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but they spread the ball out so much. Carson Wentz does. And I mean, Zach Ertz being out, I think helped Jeffrey right there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like Jeffrey, but they just spread the ball out so much there in Philly. Carson Wentz is just so dynamic.
But he's obviously the number one on a good offensive team, though.
I think Zach Ertz is the number one receiver, if you want to count that.
Well, I took a look, and Alshon Jeffrey's actually number 11 in targets in the whole entire league, which is I wouldn't have guessed that. That might have just been wide receivers, but still, that's
with his
didn't
production.
have too many games.
Yeah.
Yeah. And plus, they score a shit ton too. So.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Okay, we added one more receiver to the list today because he had a big game last night on Monday Night Football. But Marvin Jones Jr., 7 catches for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I want to say this is a few weeks in a row where he's kind of gone off, right? I don't exactly remember what he did the past couple weeks.
Yeah, last week he had 6 catches for 128 yards. And then the week before that, they had a bye, but the week before that, he had 100 yards and a touchdown. So, yeah, he's been going off these last 3 weeks. I'm staying with him, though, if I got him.
Yeah, he's definitely the favorite target of Stafford's up there.
There's just something about that offense that just irks me, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think I have the same feeling. I mean, their running backs aren't good, first of all. I think Amir Abdullah had like 20 carries for, 40 yards or something like that, which is terrible, but he got a touchdown. And it seems like he just spreads the ball a lot as well. A lot of these quarterbacks have been doing that. There's no like good wide receivers this year, it seems like, besides the top 5.
Yeah, that's true.
Wide receivers down, RBs up.
Yeah, it's going through that cycle.
Yeah.
Now, past 2 years has been running backs, though.
Oh.
That like 3 years ago, I think, was that wide receiver fluke when Antonio Brown went off.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why everybody was screaming about the wide receiver meta last season. We gotta draft wide receivers, and then, well, we saw what happened.
Yeah, I mean, what is there? There's 8 running backs with over 100 points this year, and only 3 wide receivers with over 100 points. This is non PPR, by the way.
RB meta for sure. I drafted RB heavy in all my leagues, and I'm doing just fine.
While we're talking about it, I actually saw a pretty crazy stat on the Reddits that so the past 5 years, these are the amount of wide receivers that have scored over 130 points through week 9 in PPR. So the past 5 years, there's been 12, 18, 14, 14, and 16. This year, there's only been 2 wide receivers that have done that.
Mercy. Yeah.
That's insane.
So on my main team, I'm looking at it, and my wide receivers are my absolute weakest part of my team, especially since Rodgers went down. Jordy's not looking too hot, but I'm fine because I have such strong. I don't feel too bad about it.
All right, let's start looking ahead to Week 10. And the first question I have, so Ethan, on this week's edition of Will Zeke Play?
As the Zeke turns.
So we all know he's going in Thursday for his next hearing. And Ethan, why don't you tell us about that? I'm sure you're well read in the subject.
So what I'm getting here is that he's going in on Thursday. There's a 3-judge panel that's going to be listening to the opening arguments or the arguments for and against with the NFLPA and the NFL. And so long as there isn't what's a judgment, I guess, Zeke is able to play. For as long as there's not a judgment in this case, he will play. Now, with that said, there's always a chance that he could be suspended still. But I just have the feeling, I've said it from the beginning, and this is why I drafted him. When I drafted him, I don't think he's gonna get. I just don't think he's gonna get suspended. And in fact, I'm dropping McFadden. I'm going balls deep on this.
How pumped were you on Friday when you got that notification on your phone that he was unsuspended?
I would ask Britt. Britt was there as soon as I saw it. But
I mean, that had to be an awesome feeling.
oh yeah, it was a great feeling. Even though
The cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I feel like I just came in my pants for real. But
Nice.
But unfortunately, I ended up losing by half a point this week
Damn.
due to garbage time. In that league.
See, the problem now though is if he gets suspended, it's going to be for the playoffs, and then you're going to be fucked even harder.
Hey, it's ride or die though. It really is, man. This guy's top. What, is he first or second right now in standard? I mean, he's putting it together. You know that they know that they got that beast in the backfield, and they're gonna try and shove it in the end zone with them. There ain't no they don't run too many fancy plays. You know, it feels good having him in your lineup. But yeah, if he gets suspended, then so be it. You know, you got to win in fantasy. You gotta take some chances, and I took a big one. So,
all right, let's talk about the teams on bye this week. So this week it's only 4 teams. We got the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Eagles. What'd you say?
I said the Who because no one really cares about the Ravens being on bye.
Well, yeah, I was going to get to the Chiefs and Eagles have a lot of big players out. Raiders got a couple maybe. Ravens, if you're starting a Raven, then I feel bad for you. But mainly we're looking at Chiefs and Eagles are full of fantasy starters. So, I mean, are y'all starting any Chiefs or Eagles that y'all looking to replace this week?
Yeah, I got Alex Smith and I got Butker. I'm actually holding on to Butker. I think he's worth holding on to. In my situation with my bench and stuff, I have no remorse dropping somebody right now. Just hold on to him.
Yeah, I have Butker also, but I don't know if I can justify rostering 2 kickers.
Yeah, I'm not holding on to 2 kickers. I got Jake Elliott, the number 3 kicker, and I'm dropping him for another one.
I think there's different strategies for everybody, but you can do it a couple different ways. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's not bad having a kicker for one of the highest scoring offenses in the league because he has put up 16, 17, 20 points, and that's more than your boy Crowell has gotten.
Whoa, man, whoa.
And you can make the argument, oh, you can just replace him with another kicker. Okay, well. How about it?
I also have a Travis Kelce on a bye. And I don't even know who to stream this week just because tight ends are.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there was one thing I saw for those that are looking to stream tight ends. If you want to take a deep shot, so I saw that the New York Giants have given up a touchdown every single week against a tight end, and they are going against the 49ers, I believe. Who I think George Kittle might be injured. I'm not exactly sure. But their backup's Garrett Selleck. So, for a deep fucking shot.
There is no way in hell you're starting Garrett Selleck this week.
That's for the 20-team league.
Like, I can name 3 people right off the bat that are available in our league that I would start over him. Hunter Henry, Kyle Rudolph, Tyler Kroft. I'd start all 3 of them.
I would say if the trend continues, then Garrett Selleck might not be a bad boy. He gets a touchdown. That makes your week for tight end.
I mean, he'll probably put up about the same amount of points that every other tight end does. So.
True.
All right, so we did have a few fights this week in the NFL. So AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey. There you go. AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey went at it. No suspensions there, but we do have Mike Evans getting suspended for the cheap shot he took on – God, I forget who that Saints guy was that he nailed.
Lattimore.
There you go.
Marcus Lattimore, yeah.
So Mike Evans will be suspended this week, and the Bucs are just free-falling big time. They shut down Jameis Winston. They've given up on Dougie Fresh, Doug Martin. So my question is, will we feel any good about rolling out Deshaun Jackson this week, hopefully getting all of Mike Evans' targets?
I think he's worthy of a flex spot.
He's got Fitz magic out there.
Whenever a wide receiver goes down, it's not the same as a running back going down. Like, you're not guaranteed that the targets go towards that other wide receiver. It could go to the backup wide receiver at that point, who would be, I don't know, I wrote down his names.
They got that Humphreys guy.
Him and Chris Godwin, it would be taking Mike Evans' place at that spot. But you're just not guaranteed that they're going to target Jackson at this point. And it's Fitzpatrick playing. Who knows?
No, wait,
I understand that, but I mean, Jets got the 24th ranked defense against wide receivers, so Deshaun Jackson will clearly be the number one there if Mike Evans isn't playing. And I mean, the Jets have proven they can score points, so Tampa Bay is going to have to keep up.
Wait, do you think they're going to go off though with that pregame speech from Jameis Winston? Can we just take a moment? I have it pulled up right now. Can we just take a moment to listen to that?
Eat the W.
Do y'all mind?
Play it.
I say one thing. I want everybody to look at me. I'm going to pass it to corner after I say one thing. Go. Let's go. That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. That's a W. How many people want to eat a W tonight? How many eat a W tonight? Come in. That's all I want.
You could just tell that all his teammates were just like, they were just all like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know. I didn't know at first what he was doing with his fingers, but it was really weird.
It was terrible.
I guess you could say they never knew what that W tasted like.
They've just given.
No, they don't.
It looked like they just gave up in the first or second quarter. Really, like. And I have Dougie fresh, man. I'm real big on the Dougie hype train. And
I mean, people expected a lot from the Bucs this year. They had kind of a lot of pieces on offense, and they had the hangover. Not the hangover. What did I say? The hangover. The Hard Knocks push going.
Yeah.
And they just they fell flat all season. Mike Evans had a couple good weeks, but other than that, it's just been a big dud from the Bucs.
It looked like they all had a hangover when they played the same.
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Partying with Josh Gordon too much.
Whoa, man!
Josh Gordon's he's in sobriety, man.
Josh Gordon's a throwback player because you know those players in the '80s were taking a bump or hitting some weed or drinking a few beers before every single game.
Is Josh Gordon finally back at full strength after all these players' injuries?
I think there's one more. I can't tell you who it is, but the sacrifice is not complete yet.
One more to go.
One more big one. Maybe Lev Bell.
Whoa, man. Don't you fucking say that. I will come over there right now, Ethan.
Time to pick up Connor.
Todd Gurley. At least say him.
Whoa, none of those guys. Hey, maybe y'all can just bet on, like, maybe Leonard Fournette will miss another team picture or something. I don't know. That motherfucker.
We'll get to that later, I'm sure, with Ivory coming up.
Yeah. All right, let's go to a few toss-ups for this week. So I'm going to start off with my quarterback situation. So I kind of already said probably who I'm going with earlier, but would you start Marcus Mariota at home versus the Bengals or Tyrod Taylor at home versus the Saints?
For some reason, I feel like maybe this is the blood sacrifice here. I think for some reason I have this feeling, and I'm kind of forcing to start him this weekend. But I think he's going to get killed by Fontes Perfect.
He's going to get kicked in the face or something?
I think he's going to get killed. Yeah, they're sitting there this week going, yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're feeling good about his mobility, so we're going to give him some more design running plays. And all I can think about is Fontes Perfect pulling him up somehow when he's sliding. I'm going with Tyrod Taylor, even though New Orleans secondary is looking a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, Tyrod at home, I'm playing him. Mariota, I didn't even realize he was a 22nd ranked quarterback. I know he missed 1 week, but his highest points have been 20 points versus Seattle, which is kind of surprising, but
I mean, he missed a week. He had his bye, and he only played 1.5 quarters versus the Texans. So.
Yeah, he had like 19 points or something against the Texans too. He was cooking.
Yeah, he had 16, 90. Well, wait. Oh, he had 4 carries, 40 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I was wondering where his points came because he only had 96 yards passing and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he hurt his hamstring on that long 30-yard touchdown run.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem with him, though. Ever since he hurt his hamstring, he just hasn't been running the ball as much. He got 6 yards last week rushing and 8 yards before that. And that's what you drafted him for, was that rushing ability, and he's not doing it.
True, but this past week he was slinging it around, and I think with Corey Davis kind of getting back in the role of being that number 1 wide receiver, I mean, Rashard Matthew looks good this weekend. Even Derek Decker was catching a few passes. I think he'll settle in there.
I think the coach has said this week, too, that the hamstring is back to 100%, and they're going to let him run some more, so we'll see.
But yeah, I'm going with T-Mobile at home.
We're all going Ty God.
Yeah, I'm going with Ty God for sure.
Oh, I think I like T-Mobile over Ty God.
Listen, you can't make – it's been Ty God for the past, 3 seasons
No,
now.
it has been T-Mobile. I've heard T-Mobile countless times.
I've never heard T-Mobile till you just said that.
I'm going to Google it.
Yeah, Google T-Mobile, see what you come up with.
See what you get when you Google T-Mobile.
No, you idiots. I'm Googling Tyrod Taylor nickname. Tyrod's – this says his least favorite nickname is T-Mobile. Okay.
The disrespect. Disrespect the Ty God.
I've never heard of Ty God, though. That's pretty good. I'm not going to lie, but.
All right, let's go to our next toss-up. Matt, I'm looking at you for the running backs. Toss-up, yeah.
Oh, T2 is his favorite nickname, though. So let's go.
We're past that.
Yeah, we're past Ty God's nickname. Okay, running backs. Matt, these are your running backs. Are you going – I think right now you're starting both of them, but let's just pretend that you had to pick one. So Alvin Kamara at the Buffalo Bills or Adrian Peterson at home versus the Seahawks?
Well, let me correct you there. I am not starting both of them. I had Jordan Howard on bye last week. So Jordan Howard's going to be in my starting lineup this week. I'm going with Kamara, though, mostly because Peterson is on a short week, and he just had 37 fucking carries. There's no way he's going to be ready to go on a Thursday night game. That was his most carries in his career. With him being that old, I can't trust him this week, especially going against Seattle. So I'm going to go with Kamara, who's been pretty consistent.
Let me play devil's advocate, though. Adrian Peterson is a specimen, and Seattle D just had a pretty tough game playing Washington, so they could be tired, and he could be in there to take advantage.
Did you see what Seattle did to Washington's run game? Not that Washington has a good run game, but
Rob Kelly had his best performance this year.
He had 18 yards on 14
I told Michael, I was like, man, he had 14 carries, 18 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I was so pissed. I played him his best week.
Yeah, I'm not going to – I almost feel like I should omit myself from this because I think I'm developing a man crush on Alvin Kamara. For real.
Yeah, 100% Kamara is the guy. I don't really like it traveling to Buffalo. I think I drafted Kamara, didn't I?
You dropped him.
Okay, well, I drafted him, okay? So
he's actually,
no one drafted him. You picked him up. We looked at this the other day.
Did we? Okay, then in my other league, I drafted him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Kamara, we saw what Forte did last week against Buffalo. And I think that's actually kind of the weak point of their defense. Watching them as their linebackers, I don't think they're going to be able to hang at all with Kamara. I think this is going to be a lopsided match.
Plus, hopefully Peterson will be off my team by Thursday.
Well, like I said, the thing you got to watch out for is Ingram too, though, because in the 2 games that Ingram went off with 26 and 18, Kamara had 8 and 10. Which I'm not saying I'm not playing him because those are still good numbers, but it's just who's going to go off.
They're RB-focused offense right now.
Oh, 100%. Because even this past week, Kamara had 25, and the week before that he had 14. Ingram only had 8 and 12.
I'm not worried about – if I'm a Michael Thomas owner, I'm probably a little – I'm not big on Michael Thomas, but a lot of people drafted him second round. And obviously they're not getting value for him. It's all Kamara and Ingram. You got to – Sean Payton – at one point I thought Sean Payton hated Mark Ingram, or Mark Ingram fucked his wife or something because he was giving John Kuhn touchdowns. But obviously that's not the case. They're both getting really good playing time. I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah, they have high floors, both of them.
Very.
So we're all in agreement with Kamara there?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yep. All right, so let's say you have Carson Wentz or Alex Smith, or maybe you were starting Derek Carr, and you have to pick up a quarterback to start this week. So would you go, if these were your best 2 options, would you go with Ryan Fitzpatrick at home versus the Jets, or his counterpart, Josh McCown, at the Buccaneers?
McCown. I'm thinking McCown's a top 10 play this week for sure. The way he's been playing and going against Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay is awful. I'm pretty sure they've given up already. It's got to be McCown.
I think McCown's the way to go. I think McCown's been doing pretty good with that offense, man.
Fitzpatrick can sling it.
Yeah. He's either Fitzmagic or Fitztragic. We've all seen him firsthand with the Texans. I mean, I will say that there are worse plays out there. Tom Savage. But yeah, give me McCown.
I mean, if I had to go with one, I'm picking McCown. But another guy out there that I would start over both of those, and you might call this bold, Eli Manning at the 49ers. I'm starting him over both those guys.
That is bold.
I don't think I would start Eli Manning over either one of those.
Put it on the board.
You want to – let's make a bet. I've already lost one this year.
Let's make it.
I'm picking McCown.
Take him.
All right.
Taking Eli Manning.
What's the bet?
Loser buys me a beer.
That's easy. I can do that. All right. Well, yeah, sure. It cost me a lot less than a lunch that I owed Austin for the crow shit in his bed the other week. But yeah, put it on the board.
You don't have to ever pay Austin back for a bet. He's never good if he loses.
I already
one.
did.
Put it on the board. All right, next running back toss-up. Britt, these are two of your guys. Christian McCaffrey at home versus the Dolphins, or Amir Abdullah at home versus the Browns?
Is that really a question?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to answer McCaffrey.
Why? He's not some great fantasy player this year.
He's coming off his best performance yet, and without Kelvin Benjamin, he's their go-to receiver.
But Abdullah's playing the Browns.
Dude,
All right. Let's ask Ethan and Matt.
On defense, the Browns aren't that bad. They're just
No.
total...
McCaffrey or Abdullah?
I'm going McCaffrey, straight up.
Pat? Marty? Oh, never mind. Yeah.
I think he died.
Matt said McCaffrey as well.
Oh, did he? I hope Derek's listening then, since you're trashing his boy that you're trying to trade him right now. Abdullah, I thought you'd be building him up a little bit,
Oh, Derek's already had a few choice words for you that I cannot repeat on the air.
Go for it. Let's hear it. We've repeated everything else on the air.
Too vulgar, even for me.
Even for this, huh?
Even for this.
I'm just saying, I think it's a lot closer than you're making it out to be.
Yeah, maybe because I've kind of looked at Abdullah and looked at his tape and dude, the dude can just be tackled so easily. I think he averaged 2 yards. He's getting the work. That's what's crazy. But this past week was McCaffrey's best rushing performance. I think he had 15 carries, 66 yards, which was by far his best rushing performance with a touchdown. So hopefully they'll be giving him more touches because Jay Stu was just terrible this past weekend. I think he had 2 fumbles.
I'm just saying, I could see the Lions going up early and just kind of leaning on Abdullah the rest of the game.
That's what you thought they would do with the Packers, but
Packers are still respectable.
Well, no, but they got up early, and I mean, you would figure Abdullah would just be kind of gashing them, but still, 21 carries, 48 yards.
I mean, that's my point, though. He still got 21 carries. It's just, is he going to do something?
He's getting the touches. It's just, with McCaffrey with the ball, I feel a lot better.
All right, last one. We got Larry Fitzgerald at home versus the Seahawks, or Robbie Anderson at the Bucks.
Robbie Anderson's turning into a little stud, dude.
He is.
I still don't. I'm not a Drew Stanton guy. Don't believe in him. Larry Fitzgerald. I think he's a wide receiver 3 at best this week. Robbie Anderson all the way. Let's go.
Yeah, I think I'm taking Robbie Anderson as well in that one. I do like Fitzgerald, but man, yeah, like you said, with Stanton throwing it to him. And those Thursday night games are so hard to predict.
That Seattle defense, though, that secondary hasn't been as good as we've seen it the last few years, though. They've kind of been gashed.
It hasn't, but when you're playing Drew Stanton, I think they'll return to form.
Yeah.
Past 2 quarterbacks they played have been Kirk Cousins and Deshaun Watson. I mean, two pretty premier guys.
Deshaun Watson carved them up. R.I.P.
Rip.
I've already said McCown's my top 10 quarterback this week. So you got to pair a wide receiver with him. That's gonna be Robbie Anderson.
Well, shit. I tried to play devil's advocate on all these, but I guess y'all are all in agreement on all of them.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. Let's put another beer on it, Matt. I'll take Larry Fitzgerald. You got Anderson? You seem pretty hyped up about it.
I am hyped up. So
right,
we got two beers on the line.
Give me Fitzgerald.
Are you going Fitzgerald just for the the competition here, like to win a beer, or you actually believe in him?
I'm going for the beer, and I believe.
Keep your eye on the prize, my friend.
Fitzgerald will get probably more targets than Anderson will, but Anderson's got that big play potential. So, and against Tampa Bay, they suck. That's the only stat you need, is that they suck.
They suck. We ran the numbers, and they suck.
Oh no! We suck again!
You could play that for the Texans too. So
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Oh no! We suck again!
there you go.
That's every year.
Well, we thought this year was going to be different, but it's just the same as always.
Hold on. When Tom Savage started the first game, y'all didn't think that. It was when Deshaun Watson, not even the Bengals game, because I was still like, man, he still looks a little rough. And then what was that third game? Who do we play?
Patriots.
Yeah, that was the game I was like, okay, this kid, he's picking it up pretty fucking quick. And then obviously he proved he was an MVP candidate before he went out.
If I recall correctly, you weren't too hot. You didn't believe in him too much, even after the Kansas City game.
No, I didn't believe in him going up against Seattle's D.
Britt did not have him in his top 5 rankings that we did.
I know.
And hold on. Will I be right? Will he be in the top 5?
Because he shredded his knee.
Okay, no, it's just about being right. Okay.
So did you predict the injury? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's why I traded Will Fuller.
Who's getting injured next? Let's play this game.
Leonard Fournette.
Give me a few minutes. Give me a few minutes to think about this. Give me a few minutes.
Y'all all been saying my running back. Stop it.
Oh, have I?
I think Ezekiel Elliott's going to get hurt.
Nah, he's getting suspended.
No, he's going to get hurt and then going to get suspended for next year.
I'm saying, watch. He's going to avoid suspension and blow a knee out and be done.
I wonder if he's suspended for the first 6 games next year, where he goes in the draft, though. That'd be kind of interesting.
I think we already proved that.
Second round?
He was suspended for the first 6 games of this year, we thought.
No. But it was still, the jury was out. A lot of people still had it in his head. Ethan, did you think he was going to be suspended the first 6 games?
I drafted him with the possibility that could have happened. I was prepared for it. Did I think
what, 50-50? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you were leaning toward he wasn't going to be suspended. That's what I'm saying. If we know he's suspended for the first 6 games, I'm thinking maybe late third round.
Do we ever really know, though?
What?
I drafted Lev Bell last year in the second round, and it worked out pretty good.
He was only out 2 games or 4 games.
Oh no, it was 4
3.
Game. It was 4.
Oh no, it was 3. 3 games. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, my
see,
bad.
3 games I can see going in the second round.
21 games.
That's a lot of games.
Everyone's just doing math over here.
Math.
I'm just saying, people value different players, different positions. If you feel good about it, don't let anybody deter you from getting your guy. Because if you don't get your guy and something happens later, then you don't feel good about it.
True.
You end up feeling shitty about it. So
and Keller,
anybody deter you.
I got to give him some props. He has the number 1, 4, and 6th ranked running backs, all averaging over 15 points a game. So, he did well this year in the draft.
That's even with missing a fucking picture.
That wasn't the only reason he got deactivated that week. I think that was the turning point there. Apparently, there were some other meetings he missed as well, and that just put him over the top.
Yeah, I also heard that. And the coach there does not really put up with bullshit. And I know Tom Coughlin's there, and he does not put up with bullshit.
Shit, you're a running back. What kind of meetings you got to go to? Just fucking give me the ball, and I'll run.
Look, it's not about
show
that.
up to your fucking job. and be a team player. How about that?
I mean, this is the best player the Jags have ever had, so I feel like they do need to give him a little bit of a leash. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, this is your job, this is your career. Go to the fucking meetings.
I guarantee you that wasn't the first time that's happened. I mean, they probably warned him like multiple times.
Oh, 100%.
Like, and I can tell you firsthand, as a guy that's in a position of like my job that I have at work, I don't like suspending people because it's just not good. But you got to do it sometimes to send a message. Like, you got to show up on time, son. You got to be here. When you're not here, then you hurt the rest of the team.
Yeah, I had to ride a girl up in class today. I don't do that very often. I told her that I was going to take her phone away, and she said, "You can come take it from my motherfucking hands."
Ooh. She's
when you get the paddle out.
Did you oblige?
I said, "Not up in here."
She's falling down the rankings.
Wait, yeah. What's her outlook for the rest of the season?
Suspended.
Suspended.
She's not going to get off as easy as Zeke.
Oh, she can appeal though.
That's another
She
thing.
can
Dude.
appeal.
Zeke, like, there's really no hard evidence against him. It just seems like this is some kind of byproduct of the bad decisions they made with the Ray Rice deal. They're just trying to make an example out of him, which I think is totally bogus because it will ruin his name in the long run. You know, he'll be branded basically. It's like the Scarlet Letter.
What's crazy is Deshaun Watson missed last week and has had a bye and is still the 4th-ranked quarterback.
And didn't start the first week.
Yeah, and came in the first week and only played half.
I think at the end of the year we should take the lowest points that he had. Well, okay, take his week 2 points and then just add it on to every game that he would have played.
He's still beating Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, Cam Newton, Drew Brees.
Yeah, he was the baby goat. He is the baby goat. Let's not.
It's kind of exciting, though. I mean, at least the Texans have found that quarterback because I did hear something on the radio today. I think 4 or maybe even 5, maybe you can check, Matt, quarterbacks who have started a game for Houston will be starting this weekend. I think Fitzpatrick's one of them, Tom Savage, Brock Osweiler, and I think there's one more, if not 2.
I think that
Case Keenum, and he's starting.
Yeah, he's starting for Minnesota.
So that's 4. I think there's one more.
That's a testament to how screwed up the QB situation is in the NFL right now. I think more than anything.
I don't think there's another one that's starting.
Is there not another one? I could have sworn there was another one.
I mean, unless Tom Brady goes down, Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, that is true.
Or Matt Ryan, get Schaub in there.
Is he still on the Falcons?
So what was that?
Still their backup.
Was that 4 quarterbacks?
Yeah, 4 Texans quarterbacks are starting this week.
Gross.
And Texans signed another one, so.
Yeah, I was surprised it wasn't Kaepernick.
You think
I was kind of pulling for him.
Yeah, no.
Bob McNair would rather die than sign Colin Kaepernick.
I think McNair was going to right his wrong and sign Kaepernick.
Nah, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, really.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about this. All right, let's go to the let's end it with our waiver wire like we do every week.
Waiver claims.
Yeah, I still haven't changed it yet.
Waiver claims, as that says.
Fancy.
But our first guy, we've talked about him a lot tonight. Matt's high on him, but Josh McCown, he is up to the 11th ranked quarterback in your standard league, and he's still only 35.9% owned. So like we've talked about, you could do a lot worse than starting Josh McCown every week.
Solid stream.
Yeah, definitely streamable.
Yeah, I checked in the past 5 weeks. I think he's averaged like 18 or almost 19 points per game, which that you could do a lot worse as a streaming quarterback. And he's going against Tampa Bay this week. He's top 10. And he's going to beat Eli Manning for my beer. You can just give me my beer right now if you want to.
Give him the beer. All right, next guy. He had 3 touchdowns this week. We talked about him. Corey Clement. He's only owned in 0.8%. And anybody taking a flyer on him, trying to hit a lottery ticket?
Nope.
Only if you're in a super deep league, 14-man. That's, yeah, I don't know.
Agreed. They got 4 running backs there. And that was with Ajayi just coming there for the first week. He's going to get more carries this week.
You're better off going to the corner store, grabbing a scratch off, and seeing if you hit the jackpot. I really think he's a lot of ticket for sure. Like a lot of ticket play. Good luck.
All right, let's go to Rob Kelly, who did. Now, we talked about how he only had 18 yards on 14 carries, but he did have 2 touchdowns. He's only owned in 56.7% of the leagues. And I haven't really checked, but I haven't heard much from Chris Thompson these last couple of weeks. So is Rob Kelly back to being the workhorse there?
If you want to call it that, I mean, I dropped him. I'll be honest with you. I dropped him because I saw him. I saw his last run the week before, and he had the longest run of the night. It was like 10 yards, and he came up just like straight limping. Like this guy's got a nagging ankle injury. I don't feel comfortable playing him on roster at all. I mean, God bless you if you're gonna put him down for a start this week or next week or anytime in the future, but I ain't doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not picking him up this week. He played Minnesota, the first-ranked run defense versus running backs, and he's got to go New Orleans. I mean, not right now.
I was surprised he wasn't owned as much as he is already, to be honest. Because I saw like P-Run and Thompson, I think they combined for 6 carries last week. I was like, okay, well, someone's got to be getting the carries. And I go look at Rob Kelly's stats, and they're fucking terrible.
Yeah, 14 carries, 18 yards.
He is getting the goal line carries in a decent offense, which is worth something, I think. Yeah, and he's been hurt too, so.
Yeah, if he's available, pick him up. But he's like a 331 waiver claim or a late waiver claim. You're not starting him though.
Who's that one run? Astasia, the Minnesota running back.
Asiata,
yeah.
Asiata,
Astasia.
Yeah.
Praise Astasia.
Whatever. Yeah, Astasia, that bastard. Vulture another TD. This is what this situation kind of reeks of to me. Except for there's no McKinnon involved. It's just. Nah, dude, I don't want to put. I mean, okay, if you're in a deeper league, grab him, put him on your bench, or put him in there, but I ain't doing it. 10-man, no way.
All right, let's go to the 2 Dolphins wide receivers. I mean, sorry, not wide receivers, running backs. 2 Dolphins running backs. Wait, what?
So they kind of are wide receivers.
Sort of. But with Jay Ajayi getting traded, we have Damian Williams, who had 61 total yards and a touchdown, and Kenyon Drake, who had 104 total yards left over. So Damian Williams is owned in 23.8% of the leagues. Kenyon Drake is owned in 57.5%. So if you had to pick one of those guys moving forward, who would you go with?
I'm going Drake. I'm going Drake.
Yeah,
he looks like the way better runner.
Yeah, I'm going Drake also there.
He did fumble once, but I think Williams is just the pass catching back, even though I think they both caught 6 passes, or both had 6 receptions, but Williams had 7 carries for 14 yards. Like, that's terrible. And Drake looked more explosive getting the handoffs.
They're kind of the same guy to me for some reason. If I had to pick one, I guess I'd go Drake, but yeah, not too hyped about it.
Yeah, I think Drake is the way to go there.
Yeah, Drake had 9 carries for 69 yards. I mean, that's pretty damn good. It's better than fucking Jay Ajayi ever did there. And their offense looked completely different in that Thursday night game, if anyone actually watched that.
That's almost 8 yards a carry, so it's pretty good.
Smoking Jay, I'm surprised he wasn't on your stud list, man. Over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I mean, if Drake or Williams are available in your league, I'm definitely picking them up just for a little stash. Probably not playing them at Carolina, but then they got Tampa Bay, the 27th ranked run defense versus running backs, and then New England, the 29th ranked running backs in week 11 and 12. So could be looking for some big numbers in the next 2 weeks.
All right, next guy. We never know what's going on with Leonard Fournette now because this is 3 weeks in a row he hasn't played. He had the injury, then they had their bye week, and then he had the discipline issues. So Chris Ivory is still only owned in 46.3% of all leagues, and he had 104 total yards this week. So if you are a Leonard Fournette owner, are you making sure that you have Chris Ivory?
Yes, he's a handcuff you have to have going for the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not a huge handcuff guy, but I'm definitely picking up Ivory if I have Fournette for sure.
Are you a little worried, Ryan, that he's going to eat into Fournette's carries once Fournette comes back?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about if Fournette gets hurt or misses any team pictures.
If he continues to be a knucklehead.
Well, fucking Derek has him in our league, so I guess I'm going to have to negotiate with him some more. Try to get him. Not like in my
You have
champions.
Yeldon.
I do have Yeldon. That is
Started
true.
Yeldon.
I did start Yeldon. I was hoping he'd break a big run. He didn't. He first carry of the game was for -5 yards, and he fumbled it. So he had -2.5 for most of the first half.
Beautiful.
You wouldn't even start your boy Gore.
Can't do it, man. Can't win with him. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
All right, Orleans Darkwall. I feel like he's on this list every week, but he had 79 total yards. Still only owned at 41.3%. I mean, that Giants whole team is just horrendous. Would you ever consider playing Orleans Darkwall?
Yes, I would play him this week versus at San Francisco, the 32nd, the last ranked run defense versus running backs. I'm starting him 100%.
So you picking him up?
Derek's got him in our league, but I would pick him up and play him in my flag.
What? Derek has just every shitty player on his team?
Have you seen his team? I tried to trade with him, and he said our teams were both shit. And I was like, Derek, I've outscored you by about almost 100 points this year. So,
didn't he put up like 59 this week?
Yeah. He's got kids, man, okay? That's his excuse.
What about Wayne Gallman?
Forgot about that guy.
Oh, God.
I mean, what? Darkwa, maybe this week. But
yeah, this week the game script's going to fit. But then they go Kansas City, Washington, Oakland. They're going to have to score points because they're going to be behind, and they're going to have to throw the ball.
So
Which, I mean, they were behind in this Rams game, though, and he still put up almost 8 points. So that is kind of promising.
So you're all in on the Giants this week. You got Darkwall, you got Eli in your bet. I mean, you're just going all out Giants.
That's
Shepard,
how
too.
bad San Francisco's defense is.
Yo, McAdoo's out after the season, right?
The Niners are better than the Texans.
Defense-wise?
Team-wise.
Oh, team-wise? Yeah, probably. I mean, that's just the name. How many Super Bowls
Texans,
the 49ers got?
Without Deshaun Watson and without the players on defense, the Texans are the worst team in the NFL.
Well, they're the Browns South. So
them versus the Browns would be a slobber knocker right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, some more shitting on the Texans. We don't have to do that anymore. But here, this next guy on my list is an interesting name. We talked about the Bucs basically giving up on the season, it seems like. They've talked about benching Doug Martin just because I guess he don't give a shit anymore. And they said that this guy's going to have an expanded role in the offense moving forward, and that's Peyton Barber. He had 54 total yards on Sunday. He is unowned. He is not owned in one league on ESPN. He's 0.0% owned.
That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. Like every guy I've ever seen, no, every guy I've ever seen has always been like 0.1 or 0.2%. This guy was 0.0%.
So they came out and said that Dougie's going to be taking a back seat.
Yeah. This is the guy they're going to give a look at. So would you pick him up and maybe hope that he catches a little lightning in a bottle or something?
Super deep stash, like a 2014 league.
I still think that I think they're just trying to send a message. I ain't buying it, dude. No way.
I just don't understand why Jaquiz Rogers didn't even get a touch this last game. I figured he was the kind of, the second guy on the depth chart. Jaworski Lane's in Tampa Bay?
I don't. What? He was their fullback. He was their fullback a couple of years ago, but I don't think he's there anymore.
Oh, the fantasy website has got him there.
Practice squad.
Yeah, it still has all the retired guys on there, and the guy's not playing.
Okay.
Yeah, they still have Calvin Johnson on there, I think.
Well, we know they still have D'Angelo Williams on there. So,
I mean, I would hope that Tampa Bay is just trying to send a wake-up call to Doug Martin, and that they're like, yo, dude, come on. We got to get this shit together. Because he's obviously the best running back there, so I'm not buying in on Peyton Barber.
He was getting blown up in the backfield every time he touched the ball, though. I mean, he didn't really have a shot. I mean, I think a lot of that was, I think maybe they're trying to send a message, maybe to the whole team that nobody's replaceable. Maybe.
Are you playing Doug Martin this week at the Jets? Pretty favorable matchup.
Yeah, I'm playing him.
Yeah, see, I am too.
I don't know about that. I'd be pretty scared off by those comments.
Oh, I'm scared, but still, I think he's their best option to win, especially with Mike Evans out.
You're telling me that you're gonna sit your most explosive player that you have on offense outside of Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit your best offensive player.
What are the Bucks? 2-6? I mean, they're getting that Hard Knocks curse, aren't they? Like they were pretty they were supposed to be pretty legit this year with hopefully Jameis Winston taking that next step, and I mean it just hasn't happened this year, and it's pretty crazy.
All right, our next running back, we got the starter in Tennessee, DeMarco Murray, is questionable. I think his knee's a little banged up. So Derrick Henry had 36 total yards and a touchdown. Now he is owned already in 65% of the leagues, but chances are he could be available in your league. So I think Derrick Henry is a guy to look at not only for this week, but moving forward the rest of the season.
Yeah, if he's available, and especially if you have DeMarco Murray, pick him up. You must have Derrick Henry if you have DeMarco Murray. But, I mean, I've always been a Derrick Henry believer. I think DeMarco Murray is getting a little old now, and he's always getting hurt, it seems like this year. But I think he will be the back to own next year, hopefully.
I think especially with the way things are going, and if Marcus Mariota can run the ball at all, it's going to open it up. I think Derrick Henry is definitely somebody that, even if you don't have DeMarco Murray, maybe if he's on your waiver wire, pick him up.
Yeah, definitely worth a bench spot.
Yeah, I think he's definitely. I concur, Doctor. I concur.
Well, him and Murray, they both get their chances. They both go off a game, and then you look at their next game, and they just shit the bed. Like, you don't know who to start there. And I think they're just,
I mean,
I said a couple weeks ago, I think they're just running Murray into the ground until they can finally just put Derrick Henry into the star role and just have him, get 50 yards a game and do shit.
And what's crazy is DeMarco Murray is the 25th ranked running back this year in standard scoring, and Derrick Henry is the 26th ranked running back in standard scoring.
Yeah, sounds about right.
DeMarco Murray's put up 64, and then Derrick Henry has 61, so kind of sucks.
All right, first wide receiver on the list, we've already talked about him, and we all agreed that he kind of is the Rams guy to own going forward. But Robert Woods, he had 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's only owned in 26.3% of leagues. So are we all in agreement that if Robert Woods is out there, that we're picking him up this week?
Yes.
If you need wide receiver help, pick him up.
Agreed.
Jared Goff's favorite target
this week, especially against the Texans, who just got torched by any guy that can run faster than me.
I think he's. I mean, I don't think this is too bold, but a top 20 play wide receiver this week.
You say over under 10 points.
I'm saying over.
I would say under, but I think he still gets you 7-8 points.
No, I don't think he's gonna blow it up, but I think he's gonna have somewhere in the teens.
I mean, what's crazy is this past game versus the Giants, that was his first 2 touchdowns of the year.
Huh. How's that speaking of Rams receivers though, how's that Cooper Kupp, Sammy Watkins bet looking?
I'm going to guess that Sammy Watkins passed him up this week. So.
No, Cooper Kupp's actually at 55, and Sammy Watkins is at 54.1, so it's pretty close.
Quite the matchup there.
Who knew Robert Woods was going to come out of nowhere and steal the lead role?
Robert Woods only has 59 points, so it's not that big of a deal.
Hey, that's a big lead.
It is. It's just, but it's a tribute to the Rams just spread it off. I mean, I've heard the fantasy footballers call it.
It's not a tribute to that. It's a tribute that they all just suck pretty evenly.
No, I mean, I think Goff or King Goffrey.
It's Gurley. That's the thing.
No. I understand that, but Goff does spread the ball out pretty well.
He has to spread the ball out because they all suck.
The Rams are the highest scoring offense in the league right now. I would have never guessed that, last year.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, you can't say they all suck. They're on the highest scoring offense.
They've already outscored their totals for last year.
I think they're definitely the running offense. Like everything goes through Todd Gurley, and then they just kind of whatever's left kind of goes to the wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, Watkins has 3 touchdowns, Cooper Kupp has 3 touchdowns, and then Woods has 2 touchdowns. So,
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Next guy kind of came out of nowhere. Definitely his best game of the season, but Terrence Williams had 9 catches for 141 yards. He's only owned in 7.1% of the leagues, and he's always had that big playability. So is this a guy that maybe Dak is going to throw to a little bit more going forward, or was this just a one-time thing?
I think it's dependent on Des Bryant and his health, because I think Terrence Williams even got banged up this past game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's questionable this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to come down to if Zeke is suspended, I'm 100% picking up Terrence Williams and possibly even Bryce Butler or Cole Beasley, because if Des Bryant's out, they're going to have to throw the ball. I mean, I know they have Jason Witten there, but
Why does it feel like every single year I see Terrence Williams on the waiver wire? Like the waiver wire ads. I feel like he always has a couple big games. People add him to the say, "Oh, you got to pick him up on the waiver wire," and then I don't know what happens to him after that.
Yeah.
So I just see him every year.
You and me both, brother. I don't know. I don't feel too good about picking him up, but once again, if you need wide receiver help,
Like Britt said, if Dez is out, yeah, he definitely. I think he's worth the ad just
I
for
think
those weeks.
Cole Beasley. What about him though?
The
He
bees.
didn't look too bad. The bees. I mean, I think I'd be more inclined to grab him. I think.
I think Terrence Williams has the higher ceiling, but Beasley's probably a little bit safer.
Yeah. He's got a little Amendola action in his game. I mean,
That's racist, man.
They're both white.
Oh,
they're both scrappy.
Scrappy,
Okay.
yeah. That's, when
got
you're
a
white,
little-
wide
That means
receiver is
they're white.
scrappy.
yeah. He's got a little Wes Welker in his game.
All right, let's go to a guy that's now had 2 big weeks in his last 3. A guy that I admitted that I had no idea who he was 3 weeks ago, and that is Deontay Thompson. Had 7 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown, only owned in 0.6% of all leagues.
He got dropped by the Bears a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the
They
crazy
picked him
part.
up. They picked him up, and he's actually he's been on my radar. He's been on my radar, and I'm awful close to just pulling the trigger on him because I need wide receiver help. But maybe it'll open things up even more if when the Baker gets in. So we'll see.
True, but I mean, I think with Kelvin Benjamin coming in, he's going to be their number 1, no doubt. And so I think Zay Jones had his best game of the year also, their high draft pick. So I'm still just thinking Kelvin Benjamin's going to be the guy, though, going forward.
That's what I'm saying. That teams might actually game plan for Benjamin, and it's going to leave this guy open. You see what I'm saying? Because he makes
You still have
catches.
Jordan Matthews in there too.
Yeah, they got Jordan Matthews, who had 6 catches, 46 yards. I'm guessing he had a fumble because he only had 2 points. Yes, he did have a fumble this past week. So
I think Tyrod Taylor had a rapport with him before the season at some point, if I remember correctly. So,
And you got Charles Clay possibly coming back in a couple weeks, who was Tyrod's like number 1 go-to guy.
and maybe Tyrod's going to go final form here at the end of the season. Then.
this Bills team is pretty surprising. I'm not going to lie.
I like him.
Bills Mafia. You see him on
What?
Instagram every week.
What do y'all think?
The team.
Bills Rams Super Bowl?
God, I
Let's
hope
not
not.
get out of hand. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I'm still going to say Seahawks Steelers Super Bowl.
Let's throw out, okay, Super Bowl predictions right now. Who you got? Britt says Seahawks Steelers. Ethan?
Steelers Saints.
Ooh, Saints. Matt?
Eagles. I mean, they've looked the best this year. You can't deny that. And I guess Patriots. Can't go wrong with them, right?
I'm going to say just old-fashioned Seahawks Patriots.
That's so boring.
It is, but
Seahawks Patriots.
the old-fashioned Seahawks Patriots. Just give me that NFC team, give me that AFC team. It's always there.
And they're gonna be on the goal line of the last play of the game and not actually have the option of running it.
Hey, did you see that they ran that same play on Sunday? They ran that
Yes.
little slant and that red. Was that DJ Swearinger that jumped it or someone else? But someone jumped the route and picked it. It was exactly like Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl.
They just haven't learned.
You don't
Marshawn
believe in
Lynch
the
is still
Eagles,
shaking
then?
his head, man. I'm not a full believer in the Eagles. I think they're really good and they're probably the best team in the NFC right now, but they still got the second-year quarterback, and I don't know. I still just – if it came down to Eagles, Seahawks, I mean, Seahawks have been there. So
Fair.
I think people are underrating the Saints defense a little bit, and I think that they've been there, done that with Drew Brees. They have a running game, which is, I think, it's still important to have in the playoffs. They can spread you out, they can hit you deep. I'm telling you, I think the Eagles might be a close second, but I think the Saints are going to do it.
what about the Vikings or Panthers? They're what, 6-2 and 6-3?
Not believing in them.
Panthers. No, I don't want. No.
Speaking of the Vikings, though, Adam Schefter did say that Teddy Bridgewater will be activated this week.
Oh,
that changes anything?
No.
No. Straight up.
Yeah, not a thing.
I think in the AFC, it's either going to be Patriots, Steelers, or Kansas City. I think those are your top three, but I think Pittsburgh is the more complete team, so I got to pick them.
All right, do we have one more?
Yeah, last guy. Kind of had a few good weeks in a row now. Blake Bortles' favorite target. We got Marquise Lee, 8 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown. Still only owned in 34.7% of the league. So is he starting to do enough to be worthy of a pickup now?
No, will this guy just go away? We've had him on our waiver wire every single week, I think.
Somebody pick him
And no one's picking him up.
Somebody
But
pick him up.
he keeps putting up numbers.
He does.
Am I
still
foolish
don't
for not
trust
picking him up?
I don't think so. I still don't believe in Blake Bortles.
He just scares the shit out of me.
And I think D.D. Westbrook's coming back this week or maybe next week. Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, if he can come in and be anything like he was at OU, I mean, he might be worth a spot. But that Jags offense is just – they don't run the ball.
They don't.
All right, they don't run the ball?
No, if they don't run the ball, if they're playing from behind without that defense playing as well as they are, then I'm scared. But another waiver pickup that I actually picked up last week, and if you can pick him up, if he is available, pick him up, Danny Woodhead. I don't know if he's going to play this week, but I'm pretty sure he'll play the week after that. Yeah, definitely roster Danny Woodhead, though.
Do we really want any part of Baltimore and their offense right now?
I think that's the case you can make for Woodhead, though, is that he can be that guy to actually move this offense a little bit.
Is he the missing link? Is he what's been holding Joe Flacco back all season? The lack of his presence.
Joe Flacco's still back in the Dolphins game somewhere, I think.
I'm just saying, he's worth a definite ad.
I mean, I guess, but you still got Buck Allen and Alex Collins there.
True, but he'll definitely get the starting role over Buck Allen, and that's their downs.
They'll run him out of the slot too, so.
And then another guy was Josh Gordon. I know he can't play till the 23rd, but might be worth a stash just because Cleveland has nobody else to throw to. And I think I read that Corey Coleman is eligible to come back this week. So he might be another guy you can look because he was actually pretty good this first 2 weeks playing this year.
Yeah, I just don't know who's going to throw him the ball.
Yeah,
Chris
that
Hogan?
is the problem.
Deshaun Kaiser?
Chris Hogan.
Wait, not Chris, what's his name? See, I can't even tell you.
Kevin
Hogan. Sorry, get my Hogan's mixed up. Hulk Hogan? Yeah.
One of Hulk's sons.
Yeah. Son of Hulk.
All right, so that's the end of our waiver wire. So before we sign off here, we got anybody want to give any shout outs this week?
I do have to say something. Still dealing with fantasy though. Martavis Bryant is getting #1 reps for the Steelers. So I don't know if that. Did we already talk about that?
No. So is he taking back Juju's spot?
No.
According to Roethlisberger, he said Juju is inside, so Martavis shouldn't take any of his receptions, but who knows?
You know Martavis is going to go off.
Roethlisberger might just throw to the other team this week. You never know.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're playing against Indy, so. Yeah.
Hey, Indy's tough, man. They beat us.
Yeah, that's not saying much. Yeah, man. It's, just a PSA. Kids are petri dishes of walking filth. Make sure that you wash your hands when dealing with sick children.
Get your flu shots.
Get your flu shots.
Get your Pedialyte, man.
Let's see. Go Astros. I think we're gonna look stronger, even stronger next year.
Yep, we're gonna give a shout out to our Astros. Took them 56 years, but finally world champs, and they're gonna be a little dynasty here for a while, I think.
Man, Alex Bregman's a little stud, dude. He really is.
I got a shout out.
Springer, man.
Springer. Oof.
I got a shout out to all the people that came to Brit's Halloween party last weekend, and fuck who those that didn't.
Yeah, I mean, they
Good
said they were
times.
going to be there, and then they just didn't show up.
Yeah, it was a hell of a party, man.
Good times.
Hey, we had
more
the podcast
tequila.
crew there.
More tequila for the rest of us, right?
Hell yeah.
I got totally wasted.
Shout out to Sean Watson. Let's get recovered, ready for next year. Go to that Super Bowl.
Take
You
my
ready?
ACL.
Yeah, take my ACL. Leave his, man.
Baby goat, rest up. Rest well,
Telling
my
you,
friend.
Deshaun Watson, Deontay Foreman next year.
Deshaun Watson is
It's a bold prediction, picking Deshaun.
the Aaron Rodgers Part 2. Even better. Telling
Shout
you.
out to James Harden putting up 56 points the other night, career high. Rockets getting
Huge.
going.
Huge.
I think that's all my Houston shouts right there. So anything else, or are we good to go? Any more, Matt, do we have any more questions we need to answer?
Nope.
Okay.
Fournette actually tweeted, want to apologize to everyone for last week and make sure our stadium is packed this weekend. And yes, I will be there on time with the laughing emoji.
Well,
Are they playing in
Yes.
London?
No, I don't think they're in London, are
Okay, then their stadium won't be packed.
they?
message sent.
Hey, that tweet just means he's going off for 30 plus on Sunday.
Whoa.
And then I think after that he tweeted, man, one of the best and most difficult lessons you can learn in life is that no one owes you anything and you owe yourself everything.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's deep.
Just
That's
going
deep.
through Fournette's
Wow.
tweets at this point.
I mean, with Watson out, Fournette's got to be the rookie of the year, right? Or maybe Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
They're
Alvin
close.
I heard
Kamara's in
somebody-
there, definitely.
I heard somebody making the argument that Deshaun Watson's the MVP.
Still, yeah, I could definitely see that. I'm not going to lie. Daiti
mean-
touchdowns in like 5 games?
Without him, they're complete dumpster fire. With
I
him,
think besides Aaron Rodgers and maybe Andrew Luck, he's the most valuable player to that team. And now Tom Brady without Garoppolo behind him.
Oh,
Even though I guess the Colts without Luck beat the Texans without Watson. So would Watson be more valuable?
I think Watson. If you're starting a franchise today, okay. Well, if his ACL was intact, you got to pick Deshaun Watson.
That's the only thing going forward, like the injury questions now. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, God forbid he
Yeah.
comes back healthy next year and then fucking something else happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have those players sometimes who
got
just
you.
constantly get hurt.
But it's an ACL. They've had
Whoops.
a lot. There's a lot of.
There you
There's
go.
a
I
lot
thought
of
that was
science behind
planned.
ACLs. People understand. I mean, it's not. It's not like he had an ACL, MCL. It was a clean ACL tear.
True.
So I mean, it's not like I'd be way more worried about Andrew Luck's status going forward than anybody, just because that's a shoulder injury on his throwing arm. I'm not super concerned with Deshaun Watson getting a bobo on his knee, man.
Well, it's just the Texans' luck lately. It's just been awful. With, I mean, J.J. Watt been hurt the past 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And then, I mean, Watson going down. It's just fucking
merciless
awful.
turn to peck, and
Yeah,
I mean,
we suck.
Yeah, let's just quit
We
this
know it.
Texans pity. We've had an hour and a half Texans pity party. So on that note, just going to end it right there. So be back next Tuesday, and good luck everybody making their playoff push this week. We out.
Rack 'em.
Jello Beats, holla at me.
You stupid. You stupid. What's 9 plus 10? 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 You stupid. You stupid. You stupid. You stupid.